Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're starting a new shir on the Sefer Ben La'ashri. The Sefer Ben La'ashri was written by Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen Hoberman, was also known as the Tzadik mi Ranaana. Ranaana is a small town next to Tel Aviv, next to Netanya, in that area. The Tzadik mi Ranaana, Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen Hoberman, was from Poland. He learned under the Avnei Nezer and the Sochachava Rebbes. He was either considered or he, for a short period, was the Rosh Yeshiva, one of the Rosh Yeshivas in Yeshivas Chachmei Lublin after Rav Meir Shapiro passed away. Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen lived in absolute poverty. According to many accounts, it was indescribable, the anius that was found in his house. He didn't even have paper many times to write his Chidushei Torah. He didn't have food. He suffered tremendously. He was close to the Beis Yisrael, who helped him out as much as possible. Rav Daniel Galatstein from the Five Towns, his grandfather was close to the Tzadik mi Ranaana, and he helped him out as much as possible. Rav Galatstein also gives shiurim on the Ben La'ashri. The Ben La'ashri had no children, unfortunately, and being that he was an awesome Talmid Chacham and a tremendous Mekubal, most of the stuff that he writes is Lamala Misig Yoseno. He promised that anybody that learns from his Sefer and repeats over his Chidushim to other people, he will be a Melitz Yosher and help them, and promises to help them out of any tzara that they have. So here I figured we will gain three things. Number one, what's better than having a tzaddik who promises to help you out? Number two, we're doing a chesed with a big tzaddik. We are nobodies in this world, and if we have an opportunity to do a chesed for a big tzaddik, why not? When we're learning his Torah, he comes alive, and it's a schus for us to be able to learn from his Sefer to the best of our abilities, because it's not not an easy Sefer to learn, but l'maisa it helps the tzaddik. And number three, there are some pieces that are incredible, as we're going to learn today, some beautiful chidushim that it brings down. So we're going to begin in Parshas Miketz. Parshas Miketz, the system that the Ben La'ashri does is he breaks psukim into different categories of drush, remes, and soid. So sometimes he discusses a pasuk based on the remes, gematrias, and remazim. Sometimes he talks about the secrets. Sometimes there's the drush. Sometimes there's pilpul. We'll try to do some easier stuff at least, in order for us to understand his chidushim. So we're going to begin now the drush that begins with the pasuk Vayhi kasha pasa lanu kein hoya oisi. The Sar HaMashkin tells Paroi, after nobody was able to interpret Paro's dreams, there's this Yid, this is Ivri in jail, and he was able to correctly interpret my dream. Yesh ledaktek, says the Ben La'ashri, you have to examine al keifel adover, right? What do you say? Kasha pasa lanu ken hoya. It's pretty funny, right? Kivin she'amar ken hoya. Once he's told us that whatever happened, kvar yidu ma'shahaya, we don't have to know what happened. We already know that the Sar HaMashkin was returned to his post. So why does he have to say whatever he told me happened? We know. He asks a beautiful shaila, says the Ben La'ashri. How do we know that it was because this is of the way he interpreted the dream? Ulai miderech hateva yikain. Maybe it was normal of what happened. The achar zoche bedin v'ashenin chayiv. That Paro brought them back to din, and then when he heard their claims, he said, "You know what, Sar HaMashkin, you have a good claim." So it's nothing to do with the dream that he said. Maybe it was normal. They had an appeal. They had a rehearing, and he liked what the Sar HaMashkin said, and Paro did not like what the Sar Oifim says. He says even more so, Paro was very angry at them. So after he killed the Sar HaMashkin, because Sar Oifim, because he was angry, Chamas HaMelech shachocha, the anger of the king came down. And he said, you know what, I killed one person for today, I'm being moichel you. What does that have to do with Yosef's interpretation of the dream? Maybe who said, says the Ben La'ashri, the Tzadik mi Ranaana, Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen ben Asher Anshel, who says that the reason that the Sarah Mashkin returned to his post was because of Yosef's dream. Maybe it was normal. There was a derech hateva that happened here. Paro was angry at both of them. He killed the Sarah Oifim, and he said, you know what, I don't need to kill somebody else today. Therefore, he says, that's why we have to look at the pasuk. The credible diak on the pasuk. The Sarah Mashkin said to Paroi, I went first. You were angry at both of us. So logic is that if you were angry at both of us, me, the Sarah Mashkin, should have been punished. And I wasn't punished. And why wasn't I punished? Because he interpreted the dream in a certain way. The opposite happened. First you let me go, and then you killed the Sarah Oifim. That's not logical. If Paro was angry at them, the first thing he should have done was release his anger by killing the Sarah Mashkin and letting the Sarah Oifim live. And it's the opposite. It has to be the Yosef Gorem, that the Yosef caused this, in the way he interpreted the dream. And Memela says, the Ben La'ashri, this is hinted in the pasuk. It was exactly the way he interpreted it. First was me that you judged, and you returned me to my post, and then afterwards you tola, which is not normal. Normal should have been the Sarah Mashkin, the first person to come in front of Pari should have been killed, and then the Sarah Oifim should have been reinstated. But since Yosef interpreted the dream this way, he has this koyach to do it. Now we're going to skip to a remez. The remez is a little bit based on gematrias and Kabbalah and hints, but the yisoid is a very nice yisoid that the Ben La'ashri brings down. It starts with the pasuk Belodi Elokim Yan es Shalom Parai. Yosef Tzadik tells Parai, without Hashem I can't help you. Only with Hashem I will be able to answer and explain what your dream is. Gematria, if you add up all the words, the gematria is the following words: Ve'es, Havaya, Shakai, Yakel, Limdoid, La'ovoin, Dera. So what many times the Ben La'ashri does is he takes a pasuk or he takes a phrase, adds up the gematrias, and breaks it out into completely new words to be mechadish kedushim. And that's what he's doing over here. He's taking the pasuk Beladi Elokim Yana Eshalom Pare, which is in Perik Mem Aleph, pasuk Tezayin, and he says it spells out the words Ve'es Havaya Shaka Yakel Limdoid La'oven Dara. Only a person that has Ruach HaKodesh can come up with this. It's impossible to think about it. V'yivur pi Amram Ein Misa B'loi Avon. We know that nobody dies without an Aveira. Ve'ein Yisrim B'loi Chet. V'yidu B'Svarim HaKadoshim. The Oven Ra. Whenever it says a bad Aveira, it's referring to Hamoitzi Zer Levatala, somebody who wastes seed Levatala. Rachman al-Tzlan. And the Oinshoy in the punishment is Misas Rav, Reish Ayin Vez, which is one of the words that comes out from this pasuk, the gematria from this pasuk. Mida keneged mida. Why? Who is B as Yotzer? He's satisfied as Yetzer, so now he's going to suffer punishment. He's going to be hungry. Ala Roy Rachman al-Tzlan b'Yom HaKippurim Keri, like it says in the Zohar, somebody who Chas V'Shalom sees on Yom HaKippurim Keri has a terrible oynish. Teida shekol olam ravu. The whole world is fasting. They're hungry. They're in bitzar, and he's content. Now, what does that have to do with Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim was the source of ervas haaretz. It was the most steeped place of immorality, and therefore the punishment was going to be hunger. Right? You ever ask yourself why did Hashem bring hunger onto Mitzrayim? Yeah, because in order to bring Parai down, in order to be magalgal everything. But Hashem had as many ways to have brought Yaakov Avinu down. Why did they get punished specifically by Rav? Because they were steeped in shechazer levatala, steeped in immorality. V'shem hakadosh shakai who suras Yosef bechinas Yosef. Yosef had to be metaher and mekadosh Mitzrayim to some degree, and therefore by being able to be a person who's shomer his yisoid, alken hispalel Yosef shemidu ulahem oynish kal. When Yosef was saying beladi elakim yan esholem pari, he was actually davening, says the Ben Lashri, that Mitzrayim should be spared a terrible punishment of, according to his cheshbon, 42 years of hunger. Instead, it was 7, and because Yaakov Avinu, who was the Bechir Shabbat, who never saw Keri in his life, right, until he got married, as it says, Reuven Reishis Oinai was able even to be mamtik, the din, even one step further, which is there ended up being that the hunger was only for 2 years, and it was a terrible hunger because even at the end of 2 years there was nothing left. So you see the tremendous kedusha of being shomer habris, shmiras hayisoid that has the ability to be mamtig a din, that a person who chas v'shalom does this terrible avera gets punished. This could be mamtig the din. We'll do one more drush, a very nice pshat that the Ben Ashri says. Ve'omer elachatumen ve'ein magid li. There's no one who tells me. Yesh ledaktik ala shinoi. Del el amar ve'ein poiser oisan leparai. Before it says nobody was able to interpret the dream to parai. Now it says none of my magicians were able to tell me what's going on. So why first he said nobody can interpret, and now it says nobody can tell me what's going on? And the Ben Ashri asks a very interesting question. He says, when it came to Daniel, when Nebuchadnezzar told Daniel his dream, Daniel said, I need some time to interpret the dream. I got to think about it. I have to understand. Paris said to Yosef, I don't need you to have time. I'm not giving you any time. For that, I already have my sorcerers and my magicians. They're all asking me, I need time, I need time, I need time. Right? However, I turn to you. And if im loy tiftar takef, and if you can't answer me on the spot right away, I don't need you. Yosef at Tzadik turned around, davened to Hashem quickly. Hashem gave him siyat d'shmaya, and he immediately interpreted Paro's dream. That was one of the simanim to Paro that he knew that Yosef actually gave him the right dream. Why? Because everybody else said, I need time. Paro said, yeah, if you have 4 days to figure it out, you'll figure it out. No. The way I know that you're saying the truth and you know what the dream is referring to is if you can interpret the dream immediately, which is exactly what Yosef did. And that's why Paro says later on, is there anybody in Mitzrayim like this? No, no one's like this. All of you asked me for time. He was able to answer me right away. The schus of learning from the Sefer de Ben Ashri, Nishmas Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen Ben Osher Anshel Hoberman, Atfilu should be Miskabel, he should be a Melech Yosh for us, and he should become alive once again in this world, and it should be schus for his neshama. Amen. Ken Yiratzayim.